Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn, you may call me Joy, and I'm bringing you a video because I'm procrastinating tidying my space. Uh, and I felt like I would like to do something productive today, so let's bring some cheer, let's bring some light, let's bring some levity into the world by looking at people saying stupid things. I'm basically just looking for homophobic, transphobic tweets specifically rather than memes for this one, and thought let's educate some people, or we can just point and laugh. That's also good. And before you start saying anything, yes, I know it is really, really bad to dead name someone. But it's okay to dead name Twitter. Elon is deserving of the trans wrath. So let's have a look at what some silly people are saying. Anti-Tesla up in here. The trans shouldn't have rights. Also, the transsexual movement is commonly associated with socialist parties, anti-fur, anarchists, and child groomers. Wow, it didn't take long before that appeared. So this is, I'm gonna say it, this is true. The transsexual movement is commonly associated with those things because people who don't know about trans people commonly lump them together without actually thinking. They just repeat the same ridiculous right-wing talking points. If it's not Trump, fascism, or, white people shooting things, then they think it's all the communist gay agenda. Oh, this wonderful person says, I have nothing against gays. I don't support it. But what irritates me is when they flaunt it and make it seem that everyone should agree with it. Honey, look. Why can't we flaunt it? We're fabulous! We love to flaunt! I'm so sorry that your little feelings are hurt. But I'm not really. What's interesting to me though is that this is posted by someone who has an image, I presume, of themselves, and you can clearly see that this is a heterosexual couple in the profile pic. Is that not shoving their heterosexuality down my throat? Like, pass me the sick bucket now, because I can't stand to look at these straights, Okay, so we've got a little mini conversation going on here. So the first person says, intersectional feminists are meant to support women like me, not call us TERFs, but then you have no clue about anything. And the reply is, I support women who aren't racist, homophobic, transphobic, etc. For example, I'm not going to support Katie Hopkins. I'm sure she'd agree with you guys though. And the first person says, oh, you calling me a racist homophobe? Really, lols. As for transphobic, well, everything is transphobic, so, Also, I don't think you understood my point. I think the replier perfectly understood the point. The transphobic person, because this is obviously a transphobic person, with the green, white and lavender hearts, those colours put together in that way are suffragette colours that the gender critical movement have just loved to glom onto. So yeah, if you see someone sporting those colours, chances are it's not a good sign. And then you have an actual feminist replying saying that I don't want to support women who are racist or homophobic or transphobic or bigoted of any kind, basically. And read this person like a book by saying that Katie Hopkins and her kind of opinions would align with this person's. Who says, oh, you're calling me racist? Are you calling me... Yeah, she wasn't. But the fact that you took offense to that kind of sounds like you are as well. If people are telling you that everything you think is transphobic, they might just be right. One person is a dick to you, then one person is a dick to you. If everyone is being a dick to you, maybe the problem is you. It's the same principle that applies here. Like, if everybody is saying, you're being transphobic, maybe everybody is right. So stop and consider that. Oh, wow. We've got this one that's just very out there and says, why do trans people pick the dumbest names after they transition? Not once have I seen a trans person with a bad name post-transition. Takes a while to think about what name that we would like to go by. What would fit? I'm glad my name isn't as boring as Terry Schilling 1776. Yeah, cool. Sure. You're a revolutionary. I'm sure of that. What you think is dumb, we find creative. We find beauty in the abstract and unusual. Too bad. Too bad the world is not full of people like us, really. This sounds like the call is coming from inside the house. Homophobia is understandable, transphobia is not. There's so many reasons to hate gay people, most specifically white gays, but there's never a reason to be a transphobe. No, there's never a reason to be a homophobe. Like, there is never a reason to be any flavor of bigot. That's just, no, not excusable at all. Are there people who are gay who happen to also have problematic views? Yes. Are there trans people who happen to have problematic views? Yes. That's just because there are people who happen to have problematic views from every demographic of life. And of course, you can't read this without also noticing the blatant racism in there as well. Like, white people are so damn privileged, let's just kill them all. I mean, we do suck. I'm not gonna lie. But I can say that in a sort of self-referential and self-deprecating way towards people who have similar complexion to me. There are, of course, white people out there who think that white is the default. These people are idiots. But it's not an excuse to hate on an entire demographic of people. Like, nothing is a good excuse for that. Okay, of course we've got the anti-trans lobby, the LGB Alliance in here. To those people saying it is homophobic not to be in favour of gay marriage, have a look at the statistics. It seems it's rather a small minority who have made their wedding vows. Hashtag LGB issues. Hashtag can we drop it now please. Hashtag not a big deal. Hashtag plurality of views is allowed. And the little graph there shows that people identifying as lesbian, gay or bisexual are most likely to have a marital status of single. Like, you've heard of shooting yourself in the foot, right? This is that on steroids. These people are so wildly anti trans that they're also anti themselves as well? How does that work? Like, do you not want the option to get married legally? I will probably never get married. I may never, but I want the option to be there because it's a civil rights issue that everyone should equally have the right to get married if they so choose. If they are with a partner that they love, and you know, like, why? Why are LGBT Alliance like this? Who fucking hurt them? What is their trauma? Oh god, another oldie, but a not goodie. J.K. Rowling. I've spent much of the last 3 years reading books, blogs, and scientific papers by trans people, medics, and gender specialists. I know exactly what the distinction is. Never assume that because someone thinks differently, they have no knowledge. If she had actually bothered to take in the information from these books and studies that she claims to have read, and I'm not going to contest that because I don't know what she's done. I am not a fly on the wall of her small castle in Scotland. Doesn't mean a damn thing if she's still being a transphobic piece of shit. She could have saved herself and the world so much aggro. But no, this was the hill she chose to die on. She could have preserved her legacy as just that author that did the book series that was wildly popular amongst children and young adults alike. I have no idea to what she was responding to there, because it says it's unavailable. I don't know exactly, but we have a pretty educated guess as to what the sort of general subject matter was, because it's the only thing she ever talks about now. Okay, so we're not quite done with the issue of Joe Rowe. This person says, right, I'm done. 3 months ago I was tasked with writing an article detailing 20 transphobic J.K. Rowling tweets we're done with. I read that as tweets instead of quotes. I'm not even going to change it. Go back. No. After 12 weeks of reading her books, tweets, full essay, and finding the context of these quotes, I've not found a single truly transphobic message. You should have. They're right there. Plain as day, black and white. 3 months of dedicated research and I cannot find a single truly transphobic J.K. Rowling quote that stands up against the scrutiny of journalistic integrity. The abuse J.K. has endured is beyond forgiveness. Every death threat, rape threat, and torrent of abuse she has borne with grace. Right. Let's address that last part first. Death threats, rape threats, abuse, not okay. Never okay. Never okay. Absolutely zero mention there of the measured responses, the constructive criticisms, the breakdowns of things that she's said, and explanations, like good faith explanations and interpretations and conversations coming from the other side of her point of view. Not once has she ever engaged in that, and not once has, I'm sure, this person seen that, because they would have come to the same conclusion as everyone who disagrees with J.K. Rowling. Okay, and as for the whole thing about doing research, I'm sorry, there is zero possibility. How can you say that you've done 3 months worth of research into the things that Joro has said and not find an issue, unless you are completely dense in the head and don't know that context is a thing? Like, what sentences and quotes are explicitly anti-trans? I'm going to say it that J.K. Rowling has couched her language in such a way that is, I mean, it's not amazingly clever, but some of it is dog whistly enough to pass the vibe check with normies. That doesn't also excuse the fact that I can think of 5 video essays off the top of my head that debunk and illuminate the truth on what J.K. Rowling's views are. Perhaps a trans person should have been tasked with this particular research. Because who better to identify transphobia than someone who has been the recipient of it for a very long time? Well, that one's not subtle at all. It just says, fuck the gays. But the image is kicking, not fucking. If that's how you think fucking is, my God, you must have a terrible sex life. And I feel so bad for you, but I really don't. Imagine being that hateful in this, the year of our Lord Gregory 2024. That is right, isn't it? It is the Gregorian calendar that we use. The one thing I will give this credit for is that it was a little bit creative with the colours. You've got obviously the gay person there in full rainbow regalia, and the homophobe bland and boring, which, yeah, that tracks. I have no idea what this person is smoking. They've said, it is Mother's Day, keyword mother, brackets, biological female. The NDP, woke far leftism is a curse on society. It is so woke that it is sexist and excludes people while claiming to be for equality. Take a biology class or resign. That is sad. Hashtag Windsor, hashtag Mother's Day, hashtag on Polly. What the? Is this person actually smoking? Who is trying to cancel Mother's Day? Because I'm pretty sure the answer is nobody. This is yet another made up culture war bullshit issue that's like this crazy person has decided is the most important thing ever, that they just had to make a tweet about. Now, not all mothers are biologically female. Some mothers aren't even biologically related to their children, but we still call them mothers. Who is trying to exclude people from the word mother? Like, this is not a thing. I think maybe this person is thinking about the fact that medical literature is changing its language to be more trans-inclusive. So instead of saying pregnant mothers, they say pregnant people, because not all pregnant people are mothers-to-be. Some of them are fathers-to-be, because trans men exist. That's it. You know, that's all it is. It's not saying that there are 0 mothers ever from now on, ever. But these people love to get off on their persecution complex so much that they have no idea what actual real persecution is. And that's sad. Homosexuality is transphobic because it reinforces the myth of a gender binary. Huh? So although we must oppose homophobia, we also need to recognise that not being homophobic is a form of transphobia. This really isn't difficult. Huh? I'm confused, girl. And the reply to that is, does that make heterosexuality a protest against the transphobia of homosexuality? And if so, would this create a phobic infinity loop? Clearly not. Homosexuality is the case of one person of one gender being attracted to others of that same gender. How is that transphobic? You know that gay trans people exist. Like, gay in the sense that a trans man can be attracted to men and be a gay man. A trans woman can be attracted to women and be a lesbian. This isn't difficult because it's just not true. It's some kind of a weird logic loop that, I don't know. There's something very wrong here with the logic. It's bad logic. Bad logic. Let's not make this person's tweet fun. Ugh. Just sounds so desperate to be in the I'm the persecuted, silenced majority. It really is giving that kind of vibe. Homophobia and transphobia are basically born of the same thing. It's bigots who don't like the queers. They don't care what flavour of queer we are. They just don't like us. Because they think we're icky. That's it. No amount of ridiculous rationalizations that make no sense is going to change that. Alright, last one. Why be racist, sexist, homophobic or transphobic when you could be quiet? Had to end on a positive note. I'm sorry, that's just how I'm feeling today. And this is how I feel pretty much every day. Like, why bother? Why bother? Why bother? There's better things to do. Take up a hobby, do a sport, go to work, fucking watch some Netflix or whatever. Like, there's better things in life than holding hate in your heart. And I know I'm sounding a little bit overly dramatic and melodramatic. Fine, you caught me. But, like, yeah, there are better things to do. Just remember, being gay is not a choice. Being trans is not a choice. Being an ignorant asshole, that's a choice. Anyway, I think I've procrastinated cleaning long enough. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do some research and do a proper video soon. But in the meantime, non-binary is valid, goddammit. See you all soon. Bye.